Jen and I are really honored and humbled and excited that God told us and selected us to come and start a church in Alaska and in Anchorage, a church that is for Anchorage, a church that is for Alaska. We're not just for ourselves, but we're for our state and for our city. And before we dive into kind of reminiscing, looking at some pictures, watching a video of congratulations from some of our pre-launch supporters, I just want to jump into the Bible. We can't forget about the Bible, right? So this is a little bit echoing maybe what I shared right after worship. But I'm going to go to the classic, the foundation, the Great Commission, Matthew chapter 28. If you do have your Bibles, feel free to flip open, power it on. We will have the words for you up on the screen here. But this is a passage that is famously known as the Great Commission. Jesus died physically. A few days later, he was resurrected. And for 40 days, he continued to hang out with his disciples, teaching them about him and about the kingdom. And then the time came for him to go back where he came from, which is heaven, which is by the side of God. And this is the discussion, or rather the instruction, that Jesus left with his remaining 11 disciples. And these instructions he gave to them were to be passed on from generation to generation to generation, to you and me today. 11 young men lived with Jesus for 3 years, heard him teaching, experienced ministry with him, and Jesus gave to them the Holy Spirit, gave them lots of instructions, and these are the final things that he said to them face to face. Pretty important words. And I can promise you that Jesus thought about what he was going to say before he said it. I'm sure he thought about this moment, maybe even from childhood, but definitely in adulthood, and specifically these last 40 days that he was there, face to face, in the flesh, with his disciples. He thought about this moment. And I want to say that just to highlight to you that this isn't just an ending to the Gospel of Matthew. This isn't just some words sort of flippantly or creatively written for you and I to read a few thousand years later. That these are very intentional words crafted and delivered by Jesus to the world. And so he says this to them. So now with the 11, so this is Matthew 28, starting in verses 16 through 20. Now the 11 disciples went to Galilee, as Jesus had instructed them, to the mountain which Jesus had directed them. When they saw him, they worshiped him, but some doubted. And Jesus came and said to them, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age." So I just have a few comments for you on this. If you are a Christian and you've been around church long enough, you've probably heard hundreds or maybe dozens of sermons on the Great Commission. You're thinking, been there, done that, heard that. Please don't tune out. But I just want to give you a few nuggets of information and hopefully some encouragement for you today. The first one is, what I really love about how Matthew tells this story is this sentence right up here. And when they saw him, there was two reactions. They worshiped him. There's 11 young men there, mind you. They worshiped him, but some doubted. I really, really love that Matthew included that some of them doubted. It seems preposterous to me. For all that time and all those miracles and all that teaching and seeing the resurrected Jesus, and he's warping in and out of houses and he's doing all this amazing, like just mind-blowing stuff. And at least one, two or more, some of them still were not sure about Jesus. And why I love that is because that's representative of us. Sometimes we doubt Jesus. Sometimes we doubt that God is going to come through for us. Sometimes we doubt that God has this person out there for us. Sometimes we doubt that God hears our prayers. Sometimes we doubt that anything good ever is going to happen to us ever again. Some of us even doubt if God likes us, if God is concerned about us, or if God knows about us. We doubt Him. And Jesus can take it. He may not necessarily be okay with it, but Jesus doesn't push you away when you have doubts. Jesus doesn't push you away when you have fears. Jesus doesn't push you away when you make mistakes. Jesus doesn't push you away when you say the wrong things or do the wrong things. Some were worshiping and some were doubting. Certainly when we're worshiping today, some of us were worshiping, some of us were doubting. And Jesus can handle that. And what I love is Jesus doesn't separate the two. He's like, okay, now, those of you who are worshiping me, I have a message for you. Those who doubted, He had the same message for them too. So if you find yourself in a place where you're doubting today, or where you're unsure, or you're insecure, or you're questioning, and people in your life have told you that it's sinful and harmful and God is upset with you because you're questioning Him or doubting Him or whatever, you can tell them that I said they're wrong. That He welcomes you. He wants to sit at a table and have a meal with you and share coffee with you and maybe do arts and crafts and whatever you want to do, He wants to do it with you, even when you're doubting. And that's what I love about Jesus, and that's what I love about our church. You can come to church here and doubt who Jesus is and what He's doing. There's room and space for that. The hope and the aim is that you move beyond that doubt into conviction and change your mind about who He is. But we're going to doubt from time to time. I've had doubts along this journey of church planting. God, is this going to work? Are people going to show up? Are we going to have money to do things? There's doubts that come along the way, but we keep believing, we keep moving on. So I wanted to point that out to you. But I want to give you quick 3 things, and literally I'm going to spend like 1 minute on each of these, then we're going to get into the remembering things. First of all, what I want to tell you from this is that no matter where you are with Jesus on the scale of I don't believe in Him, and I actually probably, if I'm being honest with you, I kind of hate Him, to somewhere in the middle where you're like, I don't really ever think about God. God's just kind of, I'm not offended by God or whatever. I'm just not into God. Or you're way over here and you're like, man, since 2 years of age, I've been praying and tithing and going to church and like all of it. I'm full on my whole entire life. I've been sold out. No matter where you are on that scale, we're here for you. Our mission as a church is to lead people in a growing relationship with Jesus. No matter where you are, you need to grow. If you feel like you've stopped growing, or you've made the decision to stop growing, or you don't think you need to grow, you need to grow. You don't stop growing. You can't. There's so much about who God is and about what He wants to do and what He can do that there's no stopping in your growth and in your faith in walking with Him. Secondly, as a church, as pastors, as fellow brothers and sisters in the faith, we will always prioritize your spiritual growth over everything else. When I say our mission and our mission statement is to lead people in a growing relationship with Jesus, it's not something we put on a banner. It's not something we throw on our website. We truly, honestly believe that. And it's a deep conviction of ours. And if there's one thing that we're going to succeed at, it's going to be that no matter how long you're here, if this is your only Sunday here, my hope and desire and prayer has always been that you grow, even if it's just a millimeter, even if you don't even know how big a millimeter is, even if you grow just a teeny tiny bit we succeeded today. We can fail at everything else. Our TVs can not work like they did last Sunday. Our iPads can shut down. The building can have no power. All these other things. We can fail. I can say something crazy and weird and theologically off from the microphone and offend you deeply. I'm okay failing at that. But I'm not okay failing if you come here for any amount of time and you don't grow in your faith. I want to challenge you. I want to encourage you. I want to give you, if you're broken and hurting, I want to give you a safe space to heal. If you're coming here and you need a challenge and you need to get plugged in and you need to serve, I'm going to plug you in and challenge you and help you grow and get you serving. But we'll figure it out. But we want you to grow. I don't want you to stay the same. A lot of our friends in the world, they want us to stay the same. I don't know if this is still true today. Kids, younger folks, maybe you can help me out with this. But I know when I was like a teenager, maybe like 15 to 20, one of the things I heard all the time from people, and I probably said it a lot myself, was when we started seeing like some of our friends changing, like making different decisions, like, oh, why aren't you going to come and party with us tonight? You're going to stay home and watch movies? Why are you changing? Oh, you've changed, and it was a bad thing. It was a negative thing. Why are you changing? I don't know if it's the same way today. I know that's how it was back then, but it was so negative and bad for somebody to change that we were pressured into staying the same. Well, that doesn't happen in the kingdom, and that won't happen here. That was way longer than 1 minute. Number 3. What I love in this text, if we can just pull that back up one more time, Lori, please, at the very end, Jesus promises to be with us, helping us along the way. At the very bottom. So Jesus is like, okay, guys, wherever you go in the world, I want you to tell people about me. And when you do, when you tell them about me, I want you to baptize them in water. If they confess faith in me, baptize them in water, and then teach them how to follow me. That's the mission. That's the Great Commission. Go and tell people. When they respond to it, baptize them in water, then teach them how to follow Jesus. That's what he said to do. And what I love that he said at the end is that, and behold, I'm with you always, to the end of it all, to the big shebang. When he comes back, he's going to come back in, like we learned last week, he's going to come back in judgment and in fire. He's going to come back as a lion and not a lamb. So Jesus is promising us, he's saying, pastors, I'm going to be with you as you shepherd people. People, as you attend church, I'm going to be with you to help you make friends and to help you grow in your faith. I'm going to teach you what it means to become part of a body and to serve together and grow together and to reach a city and to reach those who are hopeless and those who are living in darkness, to show them some light, that they're still nice and courteous people living around here. So that's the Great Commission. That's a word I want to give to you tonight. And within that, as I see this, read this, share that kind of stuff, and reflect on our first year together as a church, really what I think about is people. I tend to be a numbers person. I'm a data kind of guy. I really, really enjoy numbers. Anytime there's anything involved with keeping track of things or people, I get excited. I love doing it. I love seeing it. I love reading reports and all that kind of boring, nonsensical stuff. Accountants, unite. I'd be a great accountant if I could talk to people. But when I look back on the year, I think about people. Those of you who are here, those of you who are not here today, those of you who couldn't make it. And one of the primary things that I think about is that I think pretty much for everyone that I'm looking at and others that I can think about who are not here, I can say with a high level of confidence that you are not the exact same person you were when you started coming to Legacy. That for some of you, just in small ways, you've experienced change in your life. You've grown in confidence. You've healed from some things that have scarred you and hurt you from the past, whether that was recent or distant. Some of you are still in the process of healing. But Jen and I have seen growth. We have seen change. We have seen maturing. We've seen courage. Some of you have faced incredible circumstances, and you've gotten through it with courage. And so when I look back at our first year, I just think about the fact that we've seen growth. And if we close the doors down tonight, which we're not, but if we close the doors tonight and we packed it all up and we were to reflect and all that kind of stuff and say, man, what was that all about? What was that all for? I would just write down a list, right, of all the people that have been part of Legacy and the change that has happened in your lives. Some of you have not felt excitement about church in a long time, and you feel excitement about church now. Some of you are like, you've just heard like Jen say things and do things, or myself say things or do things like, wow, I didn't know that that pastors could think that way or behave that way because I've only seen or experienced this one other form of pastoring. And not that those are bad, it's just, you're like, it's refreshing to me. And so I'm beyond honored and humbled to have essentially a front seat at watching you all receive transformation from Jesus. So thank you for hanging around long enough for me to get to watch it and for Jen to get to watch it. And I cannot wait to see what God continues to do in you and through you. It may not be big world-changing things, but it doesn't have to be. Just the small things every day, constantly transforming you into the image of Jesus. So in the process of us starting Legacy Church, prior to moving here, Jen and I did, maybe we didn't really do recruiting. We didn't necessarily specifically ask anyone, hey, pick up your life and move up to Alaska with us, because that's a pretty big commitment. I mean, other than Emily, our daughter. But we told lots of people, and we put together a plan, like a business plan, essentially. We did fundraising, and we had several organizations and lots of individuals and couples and families financially supporting us through prayer and encouragement. We have lots and lots of cheerleaders all across the country and even across the world that know about this little old church here in Anchorage, Alaska, seemingly up in the corner in the middle of nowhere of the United States. That people know we're here, that they're praying for us, that they're praying for Anchorage, that they're praying for you, maybe not by name, but they're praying for you. We had 11 organizations and churches financially support us, and even through some training and through other resources. We had 11 organizations. I just want to name them, and then we're going to watch a video. I reached out to several of these churches and organizations just to ask them, hey, can you send us a quick little video, whether it's on your phone or in a studio or whatever, and just I want all of us to be encouraged, because I want all of us to be encouraged knowing and seeing and hearing from people that you don't know. You may never meet these people, but just to know that Legacy is bigger than just this room. Legacy is bigger than just this building, and even bigger than this city. There's people that are rooting for us and supporting us and that love us. But here's the 11 organizations, and then we'll roll this video. First is the Alaska Ministry Network. So we are a church in the Assemblies of God, and so the Assemblies of God is a network of churches throughout the state, 72 to 74 churches. Don't know the updated number, but 70-some churches throughout the state, and we get to be one of them. They have been supporters of ours, as well as the Church Multiplication Network. This is a division of the Assemblies of God, headquartered in Springfield, Missouri. They are essentially the church planting division of the Assemblies of God. I worked for them for 1 year. They financially and resource-wise have supported us. And then this is a list of several churches. The first 4 of these are in Missouri. King's Chapel in Springfield, Missouri, Life 360 Republic in Republic, Missouri, Blue Springs Assembly, which is in Blue Springs, Missouri, James River Church, which is in Ozark, Missouri, and then Hope Church in LaGrange, Illinois, the Mill Church in Stratford, Wisconsin, the Muldoon Community Assembly right here in Anchorage, True North Church in Fairbanks, Jubilee Worship Center in Fairbanks. Now, these are all pre-launch supporters. We have had churches support us post-launch, including Summit Worship Center. Pastor Milt is in attendance with us tonight. They've supported us as well as several other churches throughout the city and the state that have supported us as well. But I want to roll a video. This is a congratulations from several key people, both in the Alaska Ministry Network, across Alaska, and then a few others from outside the state. And they just wanted to say congratulations. And they're going to say Travis and Jen a lot. But I just want you to know that it's also congratulations to you as well.
What's up, Legacy Church? Congratulations on one faithful year. And we are so excited at the Church Multiplication Network that we get to partner with you to see every soul in Anchorage, Alaska come to worship Jesus. My name is Mike McCrary. I'm the Director of Funding and Partnerships at CMN, and I'm standing alongside of Trent Michael, who also is our specialist when it comes to matching funds. We want to say a big congratulations to Pastors Travis and Jen Skavhaug. They're dear friends, some of the champions at the Church Multiplication Network, and it is an honor, Pastor Jen and Travis, to partner with you and Legacy Church to make sure that Anchorage, Alaska comes to know Jesus. It's an honor. Congratulations on 1 year.
Hey, look, many years ago, Pastor Travis was in my role here at the Church Multiplication Network, investing thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year to new churches like yours. And now today, you guys are a part of that movement, giving money back to the Church Multiplication Network so we can invest more money into new churches in missions. Since 2008, we've seen $40 million come back of the dollars that he was a part of investing to new churches and missions across America.
Congratulations, Legacy Church. The best is ahead.
Hello, my name is Bill Welch. I'm the superintendent for the Alaska Assemblies of God. I want to wish Pastor Travis and Jen a congratulations on this 1 year anniversary of Legacy Church. When this church was planted a year ago, Travis and Jen did so by faith. They had a call of God to come to Alaska, to be in Anchorage, and to plant a church. The Alaska Ministry Network has been privileged to partner with them, and we're excited about the future that Legacy Church has here in Anchorage. We're also excited about the fact that we know that you're going to touch hearts and lives throughout our city, also the state of Alaska. And as God continues to grow the church and continues to bless you, we know you'll have not only a state impact, but also a world impact. We're so very grateful for the words of Jesus, for he said, "I will build my church and the gates of hell would not prevail against it." And truly through Legacy Church, the kingdom of God is being expanded, the church is being built, and it's all to the glory of God. So we're so very thankful and so very grateful for Pastor Travis and Jen, for Legacy Church, and for the future that it has. We're looking forward to seeing what God is going to do. God bless you. Have a great anniversary celebration.
Good morning, Legacy Church. Pastor Mark Zweifel here in Fairbanks, Alaska. Hey, I just want to say I'm so proud of Pastor Travis and Pastor Jennifer and all the great work that's happening there at Legacy Church. Congratulations on 1 year. Man, we're super proud of you. We're excited. We believe God's best days are ahead for you as a church. As you dig in hard, dream big, go for the gold. You plus God's a majority. Dream big dreams. God's on your side. In fact, since God's on your side, you better make big plans, because if you don't need God to do what you're doing, you can do it on your own. And the last time I checked, we need God, and God can do great things. Nothing's impossible with God. Believing this will be the best year in your ministry there at Legacy Church. God loves you. I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. God bless.
Greetings. My name's Brad Kessler. I'm the secretary here at the Alaska Ministry Network. And to Pastor Travis and Jennifer and Legacy Church, I just want to congratulate you today on this occasion of your 1 year anniversary as a church. How exciting. The local church is God's plan for reaching our communities for Christ. Psalms 122 says, "I was glad when they said to me, 'Let us go to the house of the Lord.'" The church is a place where we can come together and we can worship God. It's a place where we build community and learn to be shaped in the image of Jesus. It's a place where we can be a witness to the community around us and show the compassion and the love of Jesus. And to each one of you there, I'm so thankful that you have found Legacy Church as your church home. We're really excited to just continue to hear about the good things that the Lord has done. And Pastor Travis and Jennifer are so glad that you've come to Alaska and planted this church. And I really believe the best is yet to come.
Hi, Legacy Church. Pastor Milt Mitchner here, and I want to wish you a great and wonderful anniversary. 1 year, and it's so exciting. We're believing God for even greater things. And I'm so thankful for Pastor Travis and Jen. They love you, they love the city, and they're believing that God is going to minister through Legacy to see revival come to Anchorage. God bless you in your new year. We're for you all the way.
I'm so happy to bring you a greeting on this special day. Pastor Travis and Jen in Legacy Church, congratulations. What a wonderful day celebrating 1 year. You know, God's been doing some amazing things this last year. But you know what? He's not done yet. He has great things in store ahead. And I'm looking forward to all the testimonies, the salvations, water baptisms, the signs and wonders and miracles that are yet to happen with Legacy Church. And I'm so glad, I'm thrilled that God called you guys here to our great state to plant a church in Anchorage, reaching people with the good news of the gospel. And thank you for coming and thank you for serving. Congratulations on your 1 year birthday. God bless you guys.
Pastor Travis, Jen, and the Legacy Church family, this is Pastor David Lindell from James River Church. We are so excited that we were able to partner with you for your launch in Anchorage. And we believe that God has great things in store for you and that city. Keep pressing into all that He has for you, and may He make Himself fully known, not only to you, but to the people in your area and across the state through you. We love you, we believe in you, and we are cheering you on.
So that is just a snippet of the people and the churches that have invested time and prayer and money into the launching and the sustaining of Legacy Church. So I wanted you all to be able to see their faces, hear their voices, and hopefully you're as encouraged by that as I am. Now what I want to do is I want to run through, because I'm a stats guy, I'm a data guy, I want to run through just a few numbers with you. It's not a big, huge, long list of numbers. Numbers can sometimes be like a weird thing maybe in church and an awkward thing. And there's some pastors in some places that that's all they talk about is numbers, like attendance and budgets and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes there can be a perception that those things are bad. However, what I want to say is for me and for us as a church, one of the biggest reasons why I like church stats is because every number is a person and every person matters. Every number is a person and every person matters. In our 1 year, we have had 10 water baptisms. We can clap. 10 water baptisms. Again, that is hugely reflective of people coming here and experiencing life change. Many of these people had been Christians for a long time, and they had gone through some huge, huge difficulties in life. And even a few more of them, just their lives had so radically changed and had shifted so much that they felt like, man, I feel like a new person, Travis. And I just really feel like to celebrate that change and that transformation, and I feel like the best way to honor God in that is through getting water baptized. And so we've been really, really blessed and honored to baptize many of you in here. So 10 water baptisms. We have had an average attendance of 16 adults and 6 kids. Our peak was 50 adults and 17 kids. That was a wild Sunday. Oftentimes we've had 10 or more kids. showing up for church. So that's always encouraging. We love that. We've had 2 worship nights, which we probably need to maybe continue to do those, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. But while we were meeting at the school, once a quarter, whenever there was a 5th Sunday in a month, we would do a worship night, and that's where we would also do baptisms. But I've kind of like put that on the shelf because we don't meet in a fully mobile location anymore. But we should probably pick that up and still do those. But we've had 55 people show up to our worship nights, including some of those who got baptized. We do place a huge emphasis here on gathering together in groups, and even as a church as a whole outside of Sunday. So we have 2 primary things that we do. One is grow groups, which right now we do those on Thursdays here at the church building. And grow groups are just kind of how they sound. They are groups intended to help you grow in your faith with Jesus. So we're going through some material right now on Thursday nights doing that. But we've had an average attendance of 8 people and a total of 143 people go through grow groups in our first year of doing that. And then also we do, it used to be monthly, but we summer kind of threw that off a little bit for us. But we also do about once a month hangouts, which simply is like the title is the description. We just get together and hang out. We've done everything from we've gone bowling. I'm probably going to forget some stuff. Yeah, we've done sledding. We did a barbecue. Anita hosted a barbecue at her house this summer. So we just we get together and hang out. We went to Chuck E. Cheese. I know that you may be like, whoa, that's kind of risky. But it's actually pretty nice in there. If you went to Chuck E. Cheese once a long time ago and you're like, man, am I going to need a tetanus shot? Go back there. It's nice and clean and it's fun now. We got to figure that out on the fly. But it was really fun. We had 40 people at Chuck E. Cheese that night. It was really great. But we just get together and hang out. Why do we do that? Well, one, we're a brand new church and we want to get to know each other in maybe a less formal environment. But it's also an opportunity for us to invite people to come and hang out. Maybe they're not Christians. Maybe they are, but they're disenfranchised. They're kind of leery of the church because they've been hurt or just politics or whatever. It's a great place to invite them to come and just hang out and to get around other Christians to see that some of us are just as messed up as some of them, or that we're normal people and we're not going to judge them all the time. And there's just to get around us and be around us. And a matter of fact, some of our most highly attended things that we ever do are those hangouts. We've had more attendance at our hangouts than at church on Sunday morning, and I'm more than okay with that. Because there are people that are coming to those every time that they don't know God. Matter of fact, they don't want to, but they're getting to know us. They're getting to be around us. And again, it's that incremental. We're helping lead them in a growing relationship with Jesus, and they don't even know it yet. So we've had, we've had 224 people come through and attend our hangouts with an average attendance of 18. So it's a little more than our church services on Sunday. So it's really awesome. Also get through a few more numbers here. We have had volunteer hours. We've had over 1,700 hours of volunteerism. Yeah, woo! That's Sundays and events outside of Sundays. Now it's a little bit less now that we're in a church building. We have less to do. We don't have a trailer to load and unload and all that kind of stuff anymore. Those were 8-hour days, 6 to 8 hour days. So thank you, 1,700 hours that we cumulatively that we have put in together to have church and to do church and to introduce people to Jesus together. We've done Impact Alaska. We did that twice. Once before we actually launched, and it was just a handful of us. And then the second time we did that, we partnered with Alliance Bible Church, which is here in town. They're up on Dowling, right off of the highway. We went on a Saturday and fed the homeless at the Sullivan Center. Before that got shut down, that was an amazing experience together. And then most recently, in this building, we did a back-to-school party where I forget the exact number, Jen, maybe you can shout it out. 122 souls were in the building. We gave away little drawstring backpacks with school supplies. We had inflatable set up. We had this whole place decked out like a big kid carnival, and for 2 hours, 3 hours, I think, and we had hot dogs and snow cones and the whole thing. 120 people on campus. We just got to serve them and love them, and we heard so many positive feedback and comments from people. They couldn't believe like that we were so nice and generous and just giving things away, and you know, like that people didn't have to pay for it, and that just very, very nice, very huge reception for that. And the big win for us as a church in that, and I have this string floating around. What's going on here? The big win for us in that was we got to show people that Christians can be nice, and that churches can be generous. There are lots of nice and generous churches in Anchorage, but there's also some churches that are not nice and generous, and there are people who have been, you know, hurt by churches and by Christians and by family members that have tarnished the view of Jesus in their life. And we had an opportunity that day to show them the kindness and the generosity and the love and the compassion of our God. And so that was the big win for us. Now I want to show, it's picture time. So we'll move through these, and I'll kind of briefly explain what these are. Some of them might be a little bit hard to see, especially if you're in the back. I did my best to kind of zoom in without degrading the image quality as much as possible. And these, I think these are sort of chronological, maybe. But if we can throw that first one up there, Lori. Oh, yes. So this is an advertisement for one of 2 interest meetings that we did prior to launching. So there's a place called the Megan Room. It's kind of like Midtownish, like right south of Midtown. But we had 2 meetings there. We had, for one of them, we had like 40 people RSVP. The other one, we had like almost 100 people RSVP, and 4 people showed up to both of them. Look, when I say there's times as a church planner when you doubt Jesus, try doing an interest meeting in February and March when the sun is out and it's warm. But this is just one little piece of something that we did in preparation for trying to grow a small team of people to help start the church. So that's info from there. We can go to the next one. This is one of the meetings. There's 4 of the 4 people that were at that one. Wyatt Terry Hull showing up. He was in the video. He was the second to last person in the video. He's the Alaska Home Missions Director for the state. So Terry was there. So technically probably just 3 people. Terry wasn't going to join the church anyway. And it looks like Dylan and maybe Brandon in the picture. I don't know if you guys know them or not. Is that Sam? Sam, yeah. Okay. So this is an image from one of those. There's me raising my hand. I'm wearing the same sweater. Let's turn it. This is a picture Jen and I we received from, I think is this. What was that for? I thought it was something else. Oh, our check that we gave to the church. Okay. So, but this image here is just to show 2 things. One, that Jen and I made a personal investment into the life of the church. From the sale of our home in Missouri, the sale of that house gave us money to be able to move here, and then also to put a huge down payment on the church. And then also, along with this, the Church Multiplication Network, Mike McCrary led the first video, the first section of that video. So Mike and the team at the Church Multiplication Network, they were able to award us a $50,000 grant to help us start the church. And so kind of within the same amount of time is when those 2 things happened. We gave, and then CMN gave back to us. So this is early on. This is, I think, like, it's summertime, so probably like July or June or July of when we moved through, so like a month or 2 into it. Okay, we can go to the next one. So we've made a personal investment as well. This is before we even launched. We've done this 2 years in a row. We'll do that again. We'll do it again this year as well, but we love to do bell ringing for the Salvation Army. And in this picture, I don't know how well y'all can tell from wherever you're seated, but it was still the mask days of 2021, unfortunately. But an idea that we got from a church in Fairbanks is let's go do some bell ringing, but let's make our section memorable. So when people walk by and through, it's not just going to be like a normal person just kind of not talking and ringing, but Jen and I, like, we brought some music, so we were playing Christmas music, and we were handing out cookies to people, and we put we just put like Legacy Church stamped on the back of it, I think maybe with the QR code or something, or like our website info on there, and we handed out cookies, and then people were like, they thought they had to buy them. They're like, oh, I got to take a cookie. I better give $10, I guess. We're like, no, it's just free, whatever, just do that. But so we just wanted to bless people, and we wanted to make it a fun atmosphere. And so we did that again last year. And we had more and more people volunteering with that. Kids really had fun doing it. They got a little bit cold, but it was fun. So we're going to be doing that again this year. So if you want to sign up for like a 2-hour block of time, help us do that, play some music, give out. We did candy canes last year, actually. That was kind of a big hit. So cookies, candy canes, whatever we can do to keep dentists in business, we'll do that for them. Next one, this was our first sort of official hangout. We went sledding, and there was just a few people that attended with us, but it was a nice, bright day. Our dogs had a blast running around up and down the hill. And yeah, I don't think the kids lasted very long that day because it was a really super long hill, and they have little tiny legs to get back up it. But yeah, so this was our first hangout. Next picture. This was, I think, maybe our second hangout or so. We just had coffee at Kaladi, and we just invited people that we knew, and so we were all just hanging out there. This was a kind of a ruckus event. We were having so much fun and laughing so hard that a gentleman came in and told us to be quiet, and not so many nice ways. But we're like, sorry, we're having fun. We'll leave now, I guess. So that was kind of cool. So this is another event. Again, hangouts. We just want to get together, hang out, have coffee, do that sort of thing. Next one, please, Lori. Oh, this is Chuck E. Cheese. Look you can see the inside of it. I'll vouch for it. I'll probably have to go back there just to make sure things haven't fallen apart. But we had like 40-some people here at this event. A lot of kids, a lot of people who are not Christians showed up to this event. It was really fun. We might have to do it some other time, maybe. Next one, Lori, please. Oh, for around Halloween, we went and did some bowling. Now, this picture isn't as clear or zoomed in as possible, and now that I'm looking at it, I probably could have picked a better picture. Not everyone was set and ready, but a little bit of neon bowling. This was at the bowling alley at the Diamond Mall. They normally weren't going to turn the lights on like this, the black lights at night, but we just asked, like, hey, we're going to have a group there, a couple of lanes or whatever. Can you just put the neon stuff on? They're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So that was really fun. There was, I don't know, 30-some people, it looks like, probably there that night. So that was another fun hangout. Next one. Another hangout. I put a lot of hangout pictures in here. I'm emphasizing that. Yeah, a little luau time. Look at all that white skin out in that bright sun. All those Alaskans reflecting that sunlight. It was fun. This was also Jen's birthday, so she loves to celebrate her birthday. She's smiling right now, getting excited about it. Okay, next one. This was a ladies' hangout, a sisterhood hangout. I don't know, maybe this was the first one here as well. So ladies, it looks like they got together at Jitters over in Eagle River. Next one, Lori. This was our first Christmas. I got two pictures here, one a little bit more zoomed in, but our first Christmas, so we had Santa show up. Maybe we'll have Santa again next year. I don't know, with a cast on. No, I didn't. Inside joke. But no, we had Santa there. We had a great service. Kids really had fun. It was a blast. Little selfie station, little camera picture taking area. Next picture, I think this is a Christmas one. This is most people in it, but it was a little bit of a vertical video, kind of a little family portrait, if you will. Okay, next picture. Oh, this is our when we went to the Sullivan and served lunch. There was, I can't remember the amount of people, but what I do remember when we went there, 400, a little over 400. But we had just enough. Literally, like the last scoop of pulled pork we had was the literal last person that came through to get stuff. So it was really cool to be able to help them and give them a nice hot lunch, which they normally didn't get on weekends. So we were able to do that. And then this is our first, we used to call it Grow Track. Now we call it Legacy 101. So if you want to get involved, either get involved at the church or you just want to kind of kickstart your spiritual growth, Legacy 101 is the thing for you to do. You get to go through a personality profile, do a spiritual gifts assessment, and then get tools to help you point it in the right direction for growth for where you're currently at in your life. So this was the kind of the first cropping of people. I think that this is the last picture. Is this the last picture? Oh no, we have Easter. I almost forgot about Easter. So Easter, this picture isn't as cool looking, but when the lights were off, we had neon lighting here, so kids were running around in here finding eggs. This is shredded paper. A company in town called Shred It donated the paper. So we just spread the paper out, threw a bunch of eggs that had like stuff inside of them, and so kids got to plow through all the paper and find eggs and prizes and all that kind of stuff. I was going to attach a video here, but the program wasn't letting me do a video. Here's another picture. The Easter Bunny was there for kids. So they had a lot of fun. It was a blast. Getting to serve families, showing people that church can be fun, showing people that families are valued, and so just an opportunity to be able to get to do that. Do we have more? That's it, right? Okay. That was the last picture. Yay! We have lots more, but those are just ones that I wanted to show and highlight. God has done a lot of stuff. So if you've been around since the beginning and maybe you've forgotten about some of those things, that's a way to show you and to remind you that we're trying to do everything we can to create a time and a place, especially on Sundays, where people can feel valued, they can feel loved, and know that they're valued and loved because God cares. And we have an opportunity every single Sunday to be a demonstration of God's love and compassion to everyone who comes. And so these are just examples of how we can do that we get to be able to do that. Let me see. One last bit of information as far as numbers and data is concerned is I wanted to share with you from the very beginning, from the very first Sunday, we have been financial supporters of missions and of missionaries. So we support currently a total of 6 missionaries. And they range in kind of different parts of the world, thankfully. But we've given just under $3,000 in our first year to missions. So thank you all for your giving, because your giving allows us to continue to support these missionaries. I will name them for you. I don't have their pictures for you for the screens, but I just trust that you believe that these people are real. Just kidding. The first 3 are Alaska missionaries, so they're here in Alaska in different parts of the state doing ministry. The first couple actually on here is Steve and Aaron Pavek. They are Chi Alpha leaders here at the University of Alaska in Anchorage, and they do ministry among students, a huge, big, growing, thriving ministry, not just on campus, but across the state. They're doing phenomenal work. And then as well, Paul and Crystal Burkhart, they are Chi Alpha, ministering to students at the University of Alaska in Fairbanks. And then we also support Ian and Caitlin McCain. They are missionary pastors in Emonic, and they've been there, I think, not quite a year, but they've gone out to that area every summer doing kids ministry out there. So they're doing a phenomenal job reaching the village, reaching kids, and they're having a lot of really great inroads with families there. And then we support 3 world missionaries. We support a couple named Adam and Felicia Fogelman. They are missionary church planters in Namibia, Africa. They're part of an organization called Urban Tribes. So their goal is to look at the country of Namibia, which is in South Africa, and their goal is to plant church hubs in all the major cities throughout the country. So they are there currently in the process of doing that. So we pray for them and we financially support them. And then we also support Todd and Julene Diedrich. They are missionary pastors in Oslo, Norway. They just moved there a few months ago, and they're just getting their feet on the ground. But they're reaching a country that is, for all intents and purposes, spiritually dead. There used to be a lot of different revivals broke out in that area of the world, preceding the revivals that broke out in the U.S. that eventually formed denominations and fellowships like the Assemblies of God. But that country now is very spiritually dead. So glad that we can support Todd and Julene there. And then thirdly and lastly, for missionaries and world missions is Joseph McMahon. He is a missionary to India. I think this is his second term being over there, but he's over there learning the language, ministering to people, forming friendships. He has to be a little bit covert about his work there, because he could run the risk of being hurt or being maybe at least kicked out of the country. But he has to be careful, and I'm gonna edit some of this out to protect those for those missionaries who need protection. But nearly $3,000 given to these missionaries. I would really love to see us be able to grow in our support of Alaska missionaries and also world missionaries. So we'll be making some challenges in the coming months about what we want to do with missions and to further advance the gospel around the world. Two last announcements, and then we have some food to eat. If you can stick around to eat, please do, because if not, Judy and Sandy are probably going to send that food home with me, and I don't need that. So please, not that I'm pressuring you, but I'm kind of pressuring you. Stay and eat a little bit. Last two things that I want to announce. First is this, and we have, I guess, a video for it, but yeah, you can put that up there. We, as a church, are partnering and joining with another church in going on a biblical study tour to Israel in 2024. You can see the dates here, October 28th to November 7th of 2024. We are going to go right now. The land cost for this trip is $3,500. Airfare will be something that we work out in the near future. So airfare is not included in that price, but it is an 11-day trip. It is with a church named Evangel Temple. They are located in Springfield, Missouri. They're pastored by Dr. John Davidson and his wife Lynette. Very, very dynamic, awesome, humble, courageous, great leaders and pastors. I worked with John at the Church Multiplication Network for the year that I was there. So their church is going on a trip, and we're like, hey, I just texted him. I was like, hey, John, we really, really want to go. We want to bring people from our church. Can we go with you? Is that okay? Would that be? He's like, yes, please, come on. Let's do it. So we'll be going on a trip with them. Information and details about this can be found on our website on the upcoming events page. But what I want to invite you to right now for this, if you have any kind of interest at all, even if you just have questions, maybe you don't have to commit to going, nothing. We're going to have an informational meeting on this Tuesday, 2 days from tonight at 7 p.m. Tuesday at 7 p.m. right here in this building. Come and find out, Q&A time. I've been to Israel 4 times myself, worked for a company that built and led study tours there. So I can tell you all the things, even about travel. What do I bring? What do I not bring? And kind of all that stuff. Is it safe? Is it not safe? I can answer all those kind of questions for you. Registration isn't due until like April, so you have plenty of time to decide. However, our PFDs are dropping next week, I think. So maybe you want to consider, hey, maybe I'll use a little bit of that to get registered and pay towards that trip. You can do that. But this Tuesday, 7 p.m., if you can be there, please be there. If you know that you want to, come and let me know. So like, even if just one person wants to come, then we'll have the meeting. But if I don't hear from anyone, I'm just going to assume nobody wants to. But I'll text, you'll get a text and an email as well. But Tuesday night, 7 p.m., info meeting, going to Israel. Do it. If you want to grow in your faith, go to Israel. I will tell you what, there's nothing like reading and studying the Bible in the place where the Bible happened. What is two-dimensional becomes three-dimensional. What is black and white becomes color. You'll never be able to read the Bible the same, because when you read stuff, especially New Testament, Old Testament as well, but when you begin to read stuff, you will now have an actual mental picture of where this place is and the things that happen. It absolutely changes the dynamic of how you interact with God and how you interact with Scripture. So join us, please. And then lastly, I want to talk about a couple of partnerships that we are doing as a church to let you know about them. And they are partnerships with other church plants. One of the parts of our vision as a church at the onset of starting it was we wanted to be involved in planting one church every 3 years. Now, that isn't always going to be like a second campus or another extension of Legacy Church, but anytime we found out about church plants, whether that's here in Anchorage, across Alaska, around the world, we wanted to pray about it. We wanted to be strategic and link arms with other church planters to help people start churches. And a couple of months after launching Legacy, we were able to acquire the trailer. For those of you that know, the trailer that we use, or used, I should say past tense currently, to load and offload and all that kind of stuff. We got a trailer full of equipment that a previous church in Anchorage used to use. So we were 2 months into this thing, and God's like, here's stuff for a whole nother church, Travis. I was like, okay, I guess we're going to do this a lot sooner than 3 years. Maybe if you're giving us enough equipment for a second church already. God was already giving us resource to be able to engage in helping people start churches. The first one is with Spencer and Alice Mills. Now, they might look a little bit familiar to some of you, or maybe to all of you, I'm not sure. Spencer and Alice attended Legacy as much as they could. They both had a very, very busy travel schedule, so they were kind of in and out of town a lot. Alice works in Austin, Texas quite a bit. She has to be there like once a month. So they were part of Legacy as much as they could be. We met with them a little more so outside of Sundays and got to know them. Fun little fact with Alice and Spencer is they used to live in Wisconsin for a few years, and they attended a church plant that Jen and I were the second pastors at. They didn't attend when we were there. They left kind of in that interim time, but we pastored the church that they used to attend in Wisconsin, so we had that almost that instant connection with them. But they recently, amongst all their travels for work and for family and stuff, they're from California. They recently moved back to California, the Bay Area, and Spencer is going to help start a medical branch to a school down there, and Alice is going to continue her work. She works with a Christian video game company developing a video game series for them, and so they're living there. And Spencer really felt in his heart constantly and consistently that God wanted them to start a church in their house. And I guess they're like apartment maybe. So super long story short, it worked out to they're like, you know what, we'll just have church in our living room. The lady who owns the building that they rent from, she's a Christian but doesn't go to church, and it's a big city and she doesn't want to go anywhere. So he's like, hey, we'll just have church in our living room. We don't know what we're doing, but we'll get together, we'll worship, we'll maybe preach. I don't know if I know how to do that or whatever. And then he had the idea. He's like, well, Travis, what if we can partner with you guys, and maybe we can just use your guys' messages on YouTube. We'll play that, as far as preaching and stuff. And they're like, yeah, we would love to do that. So they just started, I think this last Sunday was the first Sunday. They're going to be like a couple of weeks behind where we're at, but basically sort of for the most part acting like a satellite campus in a living room in the Bay Area in California. So they're doing that. So I'll get more information, kind of more formal information out to everyone on who they are, what they're doing, and how we're involved with them. But for right now, we're providing them with preaching, with prayer, with encouragement, and with friendship, and just linking arms with them. And then secondly, I don't have a photo for this next one. All of this information is not yet confirmed, so I'm not going to share any details, but I will say there is a local church that is about to start here in Anchorage that is a Samoan family. They're not starting a Samoan church, but they born and raised here in Anchorage. They have lived in what's formerly called Barrow. They've lived there for the last several years. They're moving back. God has called them to move back to start a church and to run a ministry among the homeless and the hurting people up on the north side of town. And God's already opening up crazy, amazing doors for them. But I've had one conversation with them, and the one conversation I had with them was both sad, but also very encouraging. And they, even though great doors have been opening for them for opportunities to for a meeting place and to be ministering to people and providing for the needs of people and for the homeless population, they've also come against great adversity already, from all kind of cultural adversity. Why are you not planting a Samoan church? You need to plant. And they're like, no, it's just a church. And then other pastors that they know of in town are making life hard for them and speaking down to them and all these different things. And so I didn't know any of that. So we have a mutual friend, this couple we have a mutual friend that connected us. We went out to eat. So I just heard their story a little bit, and I was like, look, we're not even 1 year old yet. We don't have deep pockets. But what we do have, we're going to give to you. First and foremost, we can offer you friendship. And she started crying. I said, we can be your friends, because sometimes being a pastor can be lonely. And sometimes being a pastor, you can come up against other things going on, and you just need a friend. And I was like, so first and foremost, we offer friendship. And they're like, I could have stopped right there. And I was like, also, we acquired all this equipment that we could start a second church with. If you need any equipment, I don't know what your needs are. I don't even know if you need or if you know what they are yet. But you can have it. It's yours if you want it. Whatever you want that we have, you can just have it. And they're like, they couldn't even believe what was happening. But that was just one conversation. I think they're almost fully moved here. We're going to let them settle in a little bit, have some more conversations, and hang out more. And once we confirm all of that, we'll kind of give you names. We'll invite them here and pray with them, pray over them, and just let them know there's a church family here that supports them and wants to cooperate in ministry with them. But those are the two big things coming up for us this year, is helping these two, we're babies having babies. There's this missiologist, his name is Ed Stetzer, and he coined this phrase in the church planting world that he always encouraged church planters to be born pregnant. And what he meant by that was, when you start your church, don't just start your church. Start with a vision and a heart and a plan to start other churches outside of yours, because those are the kinds of churches that thrive and grow and make a huge, huge, huge impact in the world. And so we've been born pregnant, and maybe we're prematurely having kids. I don't know. But it's happening, and we're doing it, and God has already gone ahead of us to do it. And so we're going to need prayer. We're going to need resource. And we're going to need to support these folks as much as other people have supported us. So there it is, our first year as a church, and I couldn't be more honored and thrilled. I did want to mention one last thing too before we depart and eat. I'll pray over us and the food and all that stuff too. We've had as many as 50 adults was like our max attendance, and then we've had as few as one. And I just want to let you know that we're the same people, Jen and I and everyone else who volunteers and all that stuff. We're the same whether there's 150, 500, 5,000 people in the room. It doesn't matter. I'll still be waving my arms and screaming every once in a while just to wake myself up and wake you up. It's the same no matter what. 150, 500, 5,000, it doesn't matter. Because what matters is your growth. We want to see you grow in your relationship with Jesus. And you already are, whether you know it or not. If you didn't know, now you know. You've grown, we see it. You don't always see it in yourself, but you have. And so thank you for giving us a front seat to your growth. It's been an honor. I can't wait to see what another year is going to do in your life, in the life of this church, and in this community. Beyond excited to see what happens. So let me pray over you, pray over the food. If you have to get going, I get it, I understand. You want me to have more food at my house, totally understandable. But let's pray.